Okay, so we have spent some time talking about different kinds of equations. We've talked about linear functions and as arithmetic sequences. We've also talked about geometric sequences and how those are exponential functions. So we're going to kind of go back. We're going to start talking about linear functions. But before we can really talk about linear functions, we're going to talk about how to solve an equation. Okay, and so that's where we're going to spend some time. We're going to talk about solving equations and inequalities for a few weeks, and then we're just going to continue from there. Okay, so let's start with the steps to solve an equation. All right, and so these are the steps that you're always going to go through in order to solve. Now, in the past, we've done just two-step equations. That's about the extent of what you've done in the equation world. We're going to start adding several more pieces to that puzzle. So important that you make sure that you know these steps and that you follow them each time. Okay, so step number 1 is to distribute if necessary. So if there is anything that needs to be distributed, you're going to do that first. Okay, second step, you are going to combine like terms if necessary. Okay, if there are any like terms that need to be separate or that need to be combined, you're going to go ahead and combine those. And then the third step is to move variables to one side. Okay, you're going to move those if necessary. So if you have variables on both sides of the equation, we just want to get them all consolidated onto one side of the equation. It doesn't matter if it's left or right, you just go with whichever one's going to be easiest for you. Okay? And then the last step is to solve it. Solve it just like we've done using the backwards order of operations, the reverse order of operations, where we take care of the addition subtraction first, then the multiplication division, and then if there's any grouping left, we would finish up with that. Okay, so just remember as we get into some of these more complicated problems, we're going to do these steps each time. So we're going to start with the odds today. So first step is to distribute if necessary. So if I look at this, there is nothing that needs to be distributed. So I move to step 2, combine like terms. Okay, so like terms are something that are on one side of the equation or the other that need to be combined that are similar. So on this side of the equation, we have a y and we have a constant. So there's nothing here that I can combine. On this side of the equation, we also have a constant and a variable term. So I can't combine those either. So no like terms to combine, we move to the third step. This one says to move variables to one side. So I have a 5y on the left and I have a 3y on the right. So I do need to get them onto one side or the other. So I'm going to choose to move mine to the left. You can do it either way, move to the left or move to the right. All right, so we're going to move to the left. So what that means is I need to get rid of this over here, and whatever I do to it on this side, I need to do to it on this side over here. So to get rid of a 3y, I'm going to subtract it, and that's 3y minus 3y gives me 0, and it cancels out. So I did that over here. I subtracted 3y, so on this side, I'm also going to subtract 3y. So what I end up with is 5y minus 3y, which is 2y. I still have the negative 8 over here, and on the right side I have 12. So now I have a two-step equation, and I know how to solve these. So I'm going to do step 4, which is solve. I'm going to get everything away from the y. So I'm going to start with the addition and subtraction. I'm going to add 8. Negative 8 plus 8 is 0. And I'm left with 2y on the left and 20 on the right. And then to get rid of this multiplication, I'm going to divide. And so y is equal to 10 in this case. And so what this means is that the only solution, okay, the only number that I can plug in the place of y and make both sides of this true is 10. And so we can check to make sure that that works. So I'm going to take the original equation, 5y minus 8 is equal to 3y plus 12. And instead of y, I'm going to plug in 10 and make sure that both sides really are equal. So 5 times 10 minus 8 should be equal to 3 times 10 plus 12. Well, 5 times 10 is 50 minus 8. 3 times 10 is 30 plus 12. 50 minus 8 is 42, and 30 plus 12 is 42. So yes, the fact that both of these come out to be equal means that y really is 10. And that's the only solution, that's the only answer that if I plug it in, I'm going to get the correct answer. Okay, so we're going to continue these same steps. So start with we'll move on to number 3. So first step is to distribute. There's nothing here to distribute. Okay, so we can't do anything there. Second term is to combine like terms. So I look to the left side, there's nothing I can combine. I look to the right side, I have a variable term and I have a constant, so I can't combine anything there either. So I move on. Third step is to move variables to one side. So I've got 7k over here and 3k over here. I need to move them either to the left or to the right. So easiest thing to do for me is to move them to the left. So I want to move this 3k, I'm going to subtract it. 3k minus 3k becomes 0. 7k minus 3k becomes 4k. And on the right side, just be careful. That negative in front of that 36 stays with it, and it's going to come down with it. Okay. And then the last step, to get rid of the 4, I'm going to divide. And so I end up with k is equal to negative 9. And then I'm going to check myself and make sure that that works. So 7k is equal to 3k minus 36. I plug in negative 9 in place of the k because I'm saying that it should work. And then I'm going to check myself. 7 times negative 9 is negative 63. Negative 9 times 3 is negative 27 minus 36. And so if I work this out, negative 27 minus 36 should be a negative 63, and it is. And so in that case, the correct answer is negative 9. Okay, so k, the value of k is negative 9. Okay, we're going to continue. I'm going to do one more example here, and then we're going to pause, and we'll do another video with the rest of the examples. So number 5, again, first step is to distribute. We don't have anything to distribute. Second step is to combine like terms. So if I look over here, nothing to combine. I can't combine that 11 and that m. Nothing over here. I can't combine the 51 or the negative 6m. Okay, so third step is to move your variables to one side. So pick a side. It doesn't matter which side. You can move the negative 6 over here, or you can move the m over here. Okay, it does not matter to me which one you do. I'm just going to go ahead and move the m over to the right because we haven't talked about moving anything to the right before, so we'll just see what that looks like. So in order to get rid of a negative m, I need to add a positive m, and a negative 1 and a positive 1 cancels out. And so what I did over here to the left, I'm going to do to the right. I'm going to add a positive m. And so what I'm left with here is 11 on the left, 51 on the right, and that negative 6 plus a positive 1 is a negative 5. Okay? And now I still have a two-step equation. I just need to get rid of this 51. So I'm going to subtract it, and I'm going to move it over. And so 11 minus 51 is negative 40. And over here I have a negative 5. And then I get rid of it by dividing by the negative 5. And so final answer, m, is supposed to be 8. And so I'm going to check myself and make sure that that value works. So I plug it in. 11 minus 8 should equal the same thing as 51 minus 6 times 8. Okay, so 11 minus 8 is 3. And then 6 times 8 over here is 48. And so 51 minus 48 is 3. And so in that case, 8 is the correct answer on this. Okay. All right, so those are 3 good examples. We will flip it over in the back and see what happens when we start distributing and combining like terms and start adding to some of these steps. Okay.